money dance, deposits hit. Charge print checks and we pop champagne quick. Money dance, wrist too lit. If the market move, we get paid off it. Money dance, bags advance, private terminal, let us see stands. Cash in the safe, bank wires in hands. We don't pray for wins, we command the chance. Jet lounge quiet, warbling glass. iPad glowing, I'm watching the NASDAQ. Charge skill printing while boarding the flight. Volatility funding the life I design. Rich and Millie catching sun through the shade. Risk costs more than they salary made. They screaming pump, I'm fading the move. Then I short the top while they chasing the news. Money in accounts, money in the safe. Money in motion, stacking by the day. If the candle shake, I don't feel a thing. I increase size when the fear hits the screen. We don't chase hype, we execute plays. We don't need luck, we operate with edge. They need green just to feel okay. I get paid when the structure breaks. Money bags, risers hit. Charge print checks and we pop champagne quick. Money bags, wish too lit. If the market move, we get paid off fee. Money bags, bags of ass. Private terminal, leather seat stash. Cash in the safe, bank wires in hands. We don't pray for wins, we demand the task. Money bags when me alert go off. Wire clears before the debt takes off. My watch costs what they owe in debt. Drop it alerts, louder than flags. Fear hit charts, I increase size. Weak hands fold, I monetize. I don't guess, I position. Luxury funded by precision. Cash sleep heavy in hidden safes. Numbers long in multiple states. Volatility plays my flights. Discipline built this life. Money dash, money dash. Money dash, money dash. Money dash, money dash, money dash, money dash, money dash. Up or down, we get paid either way. Long when it bounce, short when it break. Up or down, we get paid either way. Long when it bounce, short when it break. Market go red, that's dinner on place. If you only win one way, you late. Up or down, we get paid either way. Money in the bank when the candles shake. Broke boys pray, we calculate. If you fear both sides, you too late. Price go up, I ride the wave. Price fall fast, I short the gray. They need green just to feel okay. I make money in a hurricane. If you bullish only you half a trader. Market turn red, you a spectator. I stay paid in every layer. Volatility my elevator. They panic selling, I'm scaling in. They revenge trade, I'm stacking wins. They chasing candles, I fade the trend. They cash out calm while they hold the L. You want direction, I want range. You want hope, I want exchange. You want luck, I want edge. That's why my account don't beg. Up or down, we get paid either way. Long when it bounce, short when it break. Market go red, that's dinner on plates. If you only win one way, you late. Up or down, we get paid either way. Money in the bank when the candles shake. Broke boys pray, we calculate. If you fear both sides, you too late. I don't need green candles to eat. If you're scared too short, you're scared to win. Profit don't care about direction. Bulls celebrate, bears pay me. Volatility is my direct deposit. Your hope is my liquidity. I don't predict, I position. Fear is where the entries live. You pray for pumps, I prepare for dumps. I make money in corrections and celebrations. The trend is your religion. The range is my income. If the chart move, I get paid. Up or down, we get paid either way. Long when it bounce, short when it break. Market go red, that's dinner on plates. If you only win one way, you late. Up or down, we get paid either way. Money in the bank when the candles shake. Broke boys pray, we calculate. If you fear both sides, you too late.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Ayy, on the road, here we go. Yeah, we winning by a landslide. Never see me coming, I'm a landmine. Yeah, I ain't taking orders in command like. Yeah, you about to see me on demand like. You know on demand. If you ain't know, you about to understand. Yeah, I got the team by my side, right hand. Yeah, take it to a string, you ain't seen it like that. Yeah, and it's the dream, man, we coming for the bag. Yeah, and we ain't never going back now. Future expedited, now we on the fast track now. They won't lend a hand, now they see us on the map now. It's time to act out. Here we go, at the top of the class on the roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on the roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go, at the top of the class on the roll. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Hey, on the roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on the roll. Hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah, you know. Yeah, maxed out, put the pedal to the floor. Yeah, on the roll, here we go, here we go. Here we go. On the road, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream. And Bitcoin getting a pullback with the, the 8-hour red dot and the 30-minute money flow crossover that we looked at on yesterday's market update, giving us, indeed, the correction to the downside. Guys, we got the hat today. We also got the hair today. What should we do? Hat or hair in the chat? Do you want to see more forehead or less forehead? Let me know. But yeah, guys, we got the continued pullback as we took that short position in the premium Discord, getting a little drop to the downside. Today, I want to cover the bullish and the bearish case, guys. We got some chopped signals on Market Cypher B, but we are pushing into a local key level of support, and we have another level underneath us that might be the level holding us back from going down below $59,000, or also could hold us up to give us the bigger short squeeze, potentially. I want to talk about this, guys. If we break a very key level above us, we could start to see a massive move to the upside. So we'll take a look at the higher time frames as well. We are still kind of in a muddy situation, obviously making money on the short right now. Not going to stop us from making money in the chop. But I kind of want to cover the higher time frames and go over, I don't have the camera stabilized right now, guys, so we're shaking around. But I want to cover the key levels to the upside, the level we need to break in order to potentially see a massive move to the upside. We'll cover the local levels, what I'm expecting here over the weekend, as well as that major level underneath us that could be holding us up from getting that move down towards $59,800. So shout out to the Mafia. Welcome in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hair live, 1K likes, and Frankie shaves his head. Shout out to Tony D. I'm not going to lie, guys. I don't know if I went through like a crisis, like a personal crisis or something, but I told Mrs. Candles I kind of have an urge to just shave my head. I don't know why. It's not gonna look good. It's not gonna look good. But I don't know. I feel like I want to change or something. I gotta shave the hair here or something. I don't know. Should we shave our head? Should we shave our head? Should the Mafia shave our head together? But yeah, let's see. Shout out to Tony D in the chat. We got Genesis in the chat, said hair live. We got Servando Estrada. What is going on, man? Welcome in. We got Coin Hoover, said hair, stream, hat. Hair. We'll do half hair, half hat. We'll do hat at first, and then we'll break it out, guys, because the hair does tend to pump price. So maybe we'll keep the hat on for a little bit, and then we'll pop it off at the end of the stream to maybe get a weekend pump. But yeah, we got Neon Visual in the chat. What is going on? Yo, he dropped an egg for... Yeah, guys, I have you can't tell probably, but or maybe you can. I have a weird shaped head. I just would not look good with a shaved head, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Get it tapered into the beard nicely, just totally bald, and then faded into the beard. Maybe that would be kind of fire. We got Rudy in the chat said I had a friend who shaved his head once and never did it again because his scalp looked like a brain. It was all wrinkled, so we started calling him Brain, and he hated it. Shout out to Rudy. I don't think I have a wrinkly head. I wouldn't know. I haven't shaved my head in forever. I don't know. Should we shave the head? Let me know. Maybe Tony, put up a poll. Should we shave the head? I'm not saying I'll do it if the poll wins, but I don't know. Mrs. Candle said she'll leave me if I shave my head, so I don't know if I'll be able to do it. Let's see. Yeah, shout out to DJ says, just joined your premium Discord. I've never had more scam friend requests. Yeah, be careful, guys. The scammers are crazy out there. I will never DM you. At least, yeah, I'll never DM you, and I will definitely never DM you and tell you that I'll trade for you or give you money or ask for money from you, especially. Please be careful out there. Don't fall for the scams, guys. We all shave then. We'll look like crypto dots. Yeah, we'll look like red and green dots, or I guess, I don't know, flesh tone dots. But guys, we got a lot to look at here on the chart. So without further ado, by the way, guys, we're going to be doing a giveaway at the end of the stream. So stick around to the end of the stream. All you got to do is be active in chat, and you will be entered in to win some free USDT. So without further ado, let's go ahead and, can you explain the new way of giveaways? Shout out to Eric. I think it works the same. I don't think we changed it yet. Tony D, if you could drop any important details in the chat. I think it's just going to work the same. We're keeping it all the same right now. I thought we were going to have to change it, but I believe it is the same right now. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into the charts. Let's get into it. All right, so here we are, guys. Now, obviously, if you watched the market update that I dropped yesterday, and of course, 2 days ago when we were live, we got this push to the upside, guys, and I did cover this in the market update. Of course, when we were live, pushing above our major key level of resistance, we got the bounce from our major 786 here. Of course, I did not take that long position, and I did talk to you guys about how it does not matter if I miss a position because, of course, there is going to be another opportunity to catch the short. If you miss the long, you can catch the short. You can't be chasing positions like that. A lot of people think if they miss a move, it's like almost like they feel like they're never going to make money again. But I am holding this short position over on Femex, and I will kind of break this down for you guys. Up about $27.87 right now, $2,787. Caught the short right here in the wick on some pretty specific confirmations on the charts as well as in the order flow. So not too bad. Short from the top, baby. What is that? What does the song say? I don't know. I forget what it says, but it's like, I make money when the structure breaks. That song is fire, guys. I'm not going to lie. A lot of people asked, who made that song? Computers made that song, guys. Pretty AI is wild nowadays. But anyway, taking a look here. Obviously, we did have the major level of resistance here. Just as a little recap, we pushed into the golden pocket. We had a weekly MPOC in here. And, of course, the point of control of the range and the anchored VWAP, right, making this one of the major targets we were looking at not only on the live stream but in the premium Discord. If we did get a bounce from the 786, we were looking to come into this major level of resistance. And not only that, guys, we did identify that we did have some liquidity sitting up here, indicating that not only obviously major target here looking for the short position, but as we were tapping up in here during the live stream, we were sitting above the golden pocket, above the anchored VWAP, above the point of control, which kind of made me talk about how, I wasn't looking to FOMO into a short position here or a long position, obviously. I guess it wouldn't be a FOMO short. Definitely wasn't looking to FOMO long, but as we were tapping up here, this was one of those things where you kind of have to wait for either one of two things, right? You got to wait for potentially another push into our key level, which I have moved this profile, so it has shifted up a little bit, but we did have the 786 and the value area high between about 70,000 and 70,200. And, when we're above support like this, right, obviously big level of resistance, we were able to sit out of the early short positions here because we saw a lot of late shorts, or not late shorts, early shorts entering in here, giving us some extra liquidity to potentially squeeze back to the upside. And on the live stream, just kind of like we're above support, I would either have to wait for another push to the upside. We also did not have a lot of confirmation here. We didn't really have any clean bearish divergences printing here on the 15-minute. We kind of just had straight price action to the upside. Technically momentum trying to come out, but there was no real significant signal. I like to see those bearish divergences a little bit more locally, which of course, eventually, right, we signed off the live stream, and you cannot convince me, guys, that the market makers do not watch this live stream, because literally every time I sign off, it's like right after we sign off, bada boom, we get the push to the upside or the downside. Price just decides to move. But we did eventually, obviously sat out of those short positions as we were above support. We get the next push to the upside right after we end the live stream, and we did end up printing those signals. We got some nice bearish divergences up here. We got the SFP of the previous high. We also had some confirmations. We had bearish CVD forming on the order flow, giving me the confidence to go ahead and take that short position. And of course, pushing into that key zone of resistance as well. And kind of two situations, right? You could either wait for that second push up to get your confirmations, or I was explaining on that live stream that it might be something that I'd rather be a little bit late to than early, right? Like maybe break down below, get stuck underneath your resistance, and then look for a retracement entry to continue on that drop down. But of course, we did get that first scenario to play out, getting a nice high entry here, now up a decent amount of money, right? So we got that full rotation back down to the value area low, and now we are attempting to lose that value area low. So what is coming next? That is the question I know everybody is here for. Are we going to get the big bounce? What the heck is coming next? But before I dive into these local levels, guys, I do want to talk about kind of what I'm looking at here on the higher time frame. So, of course, we'll jump back down into this local range in a minute. But first off, I do want to take this off. And I do want to pull up our larger volume profile, right? One of the reasons I was interested in the short position up there was obviously not just based off the technical confirmations that we got. Again, trading is about setting your traps, waiting for the traps to get hit, and then when the mouse takes that bait, you then fire, right? If we didn't get the confirmations out there or up there, I would not have taken the position, and we probably would have continued up. But when we look at this overall volume profile, guys, the kind of like higher time frame question is, are we going to come down, right? The bullish case, I used to always say this in the beginning of the stream. We have some mixed signals here, but typically, right, a lot of people just want to know, like, what is guaranteed going to happen? Are we going to get the big move up? Or are we going to get the big move down? But right now, I would say it's a little bit fuzzy, right? So I'm going to give you the bullish case, the bearish case, and then show you exactly how I'm playing this, right? Because you do not need to know exactly where price is going next. You just kind of have to find the high probability levels, have your high probability targets, and position yourself correctly for one of those things to play out, right? So when we look at this, we got below the value area high. We could not get out. We went back to the POC, right? We came down to the 786. We got the nice bounce to the upside, but we still could not break out of this value area high, giving us another drop to the downside. So inside this overall volume profile, guys, the value area low does still sit down here between about $59,800. And the question is, are we going to get this move to take out this low, which, of course, you guys know I do prefer. I'm not saying it's the highest probability necessarily. I guess within the volume profile, you would classify that as the statistical higher probability. Not a guarantee, right, but a higher probability. I do prefer this for the sake of bullish divergences and higher time frame confirmations. If we did get a drop down here, of course, you guys know we have been looking out for that daily bullish divergence to take out the low. We also have our next major key levels of support down here that we've been looking at forever, between about $58,000 and $55,000. Come down, tap some of those bigger levels of support, right, and then we could potentially get some bullish divergences on the daily time frame. And on top of that, we also could be potentially setting up for that on the 2-day as well, right? So if we get down there, tap into these levels, lower lows on price action, we may be able to form a little bit of a bullish divergence on the 2-day as well. So my plan, if we get the bigger move to the downside, of course, I'll continue to capitalize on the new short position as well as the short positions from much higher, $98,000, $91,000, still holding a portion of those trades as well. Profits locked in on those, stop losses to break even. So pretty much all guaranteed winning trades here. But if we got that right, this would be a lot more comfortable for me to say, like, hey, this is nice. We have massive confirmation, right? This looks good for a bigger pump to the upside. But I have to be honest with you guys. Not only me, right, but nobody knows whether we're going to get this drop down first and then get the bigger push to the upside. We'll talk about this situation in here. As you can see, there's not a lot of resistance above. I do personally think that once we come up here and break the wick, and more specifically the daily naked point of control sitting here at about $72,600, I do think this is our best shot. I think if we get above here, guys, you could eventually see some kind of a quote-unquote God candle to the upside. Based off of two main things, right? Liquidity and the low volume gap, which I'll cover in a second. But it's kind of difficult down here, to be quite honest, at least for me, right? It's not going to stop me from making money. But to just make this call that, like, hey, guys, don't worry. We're going to come up here, and the big move up is coming first. It's very hard for me to put a high probability on that because of the lack of high time frame confirmations, right? I would love those bullish divergences. The market doesn't always give you what you want, but it would just be a lot easier for me to look for that bigger move up if we get that drop down first. So, in the bearish case, the biggest level of support, and again, we'll cover the local levels in that kind of line in the sand, if broken, would indicate that this is very high probability. We have not broken that just yet. We're actually holding on to local support. But in the bearish case, we get that drop down. I will be looking for those bullish divergences on the higher time frames. Well, kind of garbagely drawn here, but higher lows on our momentum waves, lower lows on price, and then that is what I'll be looking at. I will definitely be interested in long positions down here if we do get that to play out. If we get the push up first, right? If we hold these local levels of support that we're holding right now, which of course is just very simple Fibonacci retracement from the low to the high, right? We got the push up, we got the retracement, we got the push down. And now we're pushing into this major golden pocket, or I wouldn't say major, but the full golden pocket of this local move to the upside. And if we pull this to the higher low, right, we actually have come down and tapped the 786 as well. So we're tapping the local 786. We're also tapping into the full golden pocket retracement. So at the end of the day, guys, this is support. And very similarly to the 786 that we had down here, it's obviously an area to look for support. There's no situation where I'm ever looking for shorts down here. If I had to look for anything down here, it would have to be a long position, right? We've already gotten the move down. If I was not short from up here, I am not FOMOing in at support, right? Just like up here, I'm not FOMOing into longs. I'm actually looking for shorts, right? And this is actually important, right? Because if we hold this and we end up getting a higher low, it does technically open the door for a potential higher high, right? Or maybe we get a little head and shoulders, right? People start looking at that potentially, right? Pull a random kind of sloppy measured move, getting us that push up towards about $74,000. Again, that's very sloppily drawn. I'll show you the actual key levels up there in a minute. But, I mean, this is local support, right? So if we hold this, right, and the reason I bring this up is because this 786 is going to be the line in the sand. If we lose this 786, mark this off on your chart, almost 64K, right, $64,020. If we cannot hold this level, this is where I would say there is a very high probability to get the move down towards the value area low at about 59.8. If we break that 786, it invalidates the idea of the higher low, and in which case you're looking to take out this low, and then really the only support to look at underneath this is the value area low. There's not much underneath that. You have a little bit of confluence on this 786, I believe, with a, where's it at? Daily MPOC. So I guess, 786 is the structural level. But if you deviate slightly, right, reclaim the 786. Understand there is a daily naked point of control there at about 63.3. But this is really the zone. If you cannot hold this, I am fully anticipating a drop down to $59,800. And that would start to be a little bit more clear. It's hard for me to say, hey, guys, buckle up, we're going to $59,000 because, hey, we can hold this, right? And we'll take a look at the money flow, and I'll try to give you guys a little bit of a bias. Again, like it's a little bit chopped up, right? 4-hour money flow just still in the red here. We've gotten a couple fake outs into the green. Money flow likes to spend more time in the red than it does in the green when we're in a bear market environment, right? So it's not super shocking to see these 4-hour money flow crossovers fake back out into the red, back in the green. Oh my God, continuation up. Nope, back in the red. So again, a little bit of a difficult situation to call here. There's two situations. We can go up, we can go down. And the way I position myself with this is, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but we position ourselves to take advantage of either case, right? And this is like a big kind of breakthrough for people who are learning how to trade. It's like, I thought TA was going to teach me the exact level to know exactly where things are going to go. That is not how it works. And of course, right, like we didn't know if we were 100% going to reject here, but we saw the confirmations, we took the trades, right? And I even missed this long position, was still able to make some money on this short, right? So this is the last level of support. I would say 63.3 is really the last level, but that 786, we can't hold this. I'm looking down towards 59.8, and then that is my preferred scenario, right? But at the end of the day, right, this is support. We could totally get a bounce here. I'll cover this locally for you guys and talk about the biggest level of resistance above if we do get a local bounce. But this is the level. This is really all we have underneath us. Once we lose this, nothing until that value area low. It would give us a full fill of the volume profile, which would be very nice to see. Can't get out. Lose the POC. Next stop is the value area low, right? So last resort level. When we put that on the thumbnail, we don't put it for no reason, right? It is because this is literally the last level of support. So if we get the bounce, right, and that's the bearish case, right? So overall, higher time frame, bearish case, come down here. I'm very interested in these levels. Second opportunity or second possibility here is really the key level to break here is get above these highs. We've taken a look at the liquidity a million times on this stream. A lot of liquidity, a lot of people feeling super bearish, right? We're currently inside a major zone of support, right? This volume profile is major support. Everyone's getting bearish. Everybody, and you could see this on the pushes to the upside locally that we saw here. Everybody trying to fade this move on the way up, right? Shorts got cooked here. Short. Everyone's shorting in this move to the upside, and they all get washed. So it kind of just like hammers home the idea of, how bearish people are here, how bearish traders are. People just think this thing's going to zero, which, who knows? Maybe it does. But what does that do, right? It puts a lot of liquidity above all these highs. We have the high up here, $72,237. We also have the backup resistance here at the daily naked point of control, so I'm going to mark this off as a zone. We also have the high right here, right? Still untapped at about $71K, $79,016. A lot of liquidity sitting up here, guys. So what does that mean? If we get the push to the upside, let's just, for example, say hypothetically, we hold this 786, golden pocket, we get back up here. I'll talk about the key level of resistance we must reclaim. But let's just say, for some reason, we get some massive move up here. This is all eyes on this level, about $72,600. If we start popping up here, guys, I think we are in store for a very big move to the upside. Two reasons. Again, liquidity and volume. The low volume gap sitting up here is no joke. Not that. Pull up the visible range volume profile. Get rid of this. Massive. I'll pull it up on a higher time frame so it's nice and clean. Not a lot here, guys. Not a lot above us. Now, not only do you have the theory of if we start squeezing above here, shorts are at risk of absolutely getting cooked, causing a short squeeze to the upside. We've covered this many a times. Massive low volume gap. Broadly, between that high at 72,000, around 72,600, all the way up into the next major high volume node, getting us close to about 86K, right? We have a couple daily MPOCs up here around $80,000, right? Very important level to watch. But at the end of the day, the real gap, if I were to draw this out, as I've covered in the live streams and the market update yesterday, really sits, mark it out, right here, right? Price moves very quickly through these low volume gaps. Exactly how we identified and expected this big capitulation down and made a ton of money on the way down. It could be the same thing on the way back up. Break these highs. And of course, we'll look for shorts at this high. If we get the confirmations, right, we might just sweep the high, go back down first, and then, this low volume gap, if we do not fill it, let's say we get up here and we do not fill this gap and we wind up getting the bigger rejection down, you might be sitting there thinking, well, what happened to the low volume gap? The gap is still there, right? We just did not fill it. But if we can break and reclaim this level, there's not a lot holding us back. And I do think if we can get above that level, hold it decisively, break into the gap, we could very similarly to the drop down, see a very fast push to the upside, which would essentially be crack the highs. Let's just say we go to 86K. Again, you could get caught up on these MPOCs. It's not very likely not just going to be an instant shot up, but with the liquidity situation, maybe a very aggressive move up of about 18%. Right? That's going to be an explosive move. And again, the level to watch there is about 72.4 to 72.6. Or I'm sorry. Yeah, about 72.4. That's the highs, right? You're looking to crack those highs based off the liquidity, right? Start stopping out the shorts and squeeze them to the upside, right? And of course, we have the local resistance here on the daily MPOCs. Maybe we get I'm not going to try to call the exact price action here, right? Fast move up. Really not anything between the highs and about $78,000 to $80,000, right? So very likely a fast move up, right? Fast move down, fast move up. Maybe we cling around a little bit, right? Then once we get up there, not much holding you back to push up towards about $84,000 to $86,000. This could be a very, very aggressive move. So if you take anything away from this stream, mark out those highs, right? Basically just the range highs here. Let me come on down to a lower time frame so I can get my bearings, right? Wick high, $72,237. Daily MPOC sits at $72,641. Break above that level, could be a wild ride. Now, of course, right, we talked about this on the live stream the other day, right? Well, hey, guys, if we don't get the short to play out here and we break up, it was the same situation. I mentioned I don't know if this is going to come sooner or later. Right? But again, that's not going to stop us from making money. If we go down first, well, hey, we caught the short up here because we know what confirmations to look for. We know the key levels to watch to absolutely capitalize on those drops to the downside, right? So again, if you ever take a predictive view of the market, you want to try to move away from that and move to more of a planned probability mindset, right? Sure, this gap is up here. Sure, we could, maybe this short didn't play out and we could have broke up here and saw the squeeze to the upside, right? But of course, we see those confirmations. We're able to make some money on the way down, and it's the same thing here, right? We have to hold this level of support. If we do not hold this, the bearish case is very likely to play out first. And if I had massive bullish divergences already on the chart here, I would be much more confident that the move up would happen first. But right now, we're just chopping around sideways. I'm sure a lot of people are feeling the pain of this sideways price action, right? It's just super brutal, super sideways, super muddy. Even the confirmations here, looking at the 3-hour money flow, you're in the green, you're in the red, you're in the green, you're in the red, you're in the green, you're in the red. Very difficult situation to make like a medium to higher time frame call. I'll show you a bullish signal that we could see printing over the weekend as well. But that's my plan. If we end up breaking through here, shorts continue to pay out. I am not holding a long position from this golden pocket just yet. And why is that, right? Well, we didn't really have any confirmation down here. We don't have any like significant bullish divergences, right? Like you have lower lows on your momentum waves. You got lower lows on your price action. You don't have any bullish divergences in here. But at the end of the day, right, there's no saying that you need the bull divs, right? It is key support. Maybe we get a surprising bounce here. That's fine, right? It's a key level. Wouldn't shock me, a ton. But for me to take the trade, right, I needed better confirmation, which we don't have. On top of that, we were looking at this in the premium Discord earlier today, 16-hour red dot, 1 hour money flow crossed into the red. This is a little bit more indicative of a continuation of the downtrend. So not a lot of confluence here for me to personally take a trade. Doesn't mean it can't continue up, right? But, people always want to know where I'm holding my trades from. I'm not currently holding a long position right now. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't long it. It doesn't mean it can't go up. But for me, based off my plan, I'm not going to take the trade, right? It's very similar down here. I was not interested in this level. I did not plan to take a long. You missed the long. That's fine, right? I have my key level here. I did get the confirmations. I catch the short, right? Like I am indifferent on missing or catching every single move, right? Or missing a move once in a while. Totally fine. Not going to stop me from making money off those high probability setups. So, I wish I could come up here and be like, oh my God, guys, we got the bull divs. Look for the fill of the gap. But at the end of the day, looking at our volume profile here, I have to be cautious, right? Because as long as we remain below this point of control, the target of the value area low is valid, right? And technically, not even just below the POC, but technically below the value area high. Until we break out of this value area high, and more importantly, get above into that low volume gap, we stay inside this range. I view this as a volume profile. It could be wonky. It could be confusing. But eventually, if we can't break out of here, the value area low does still remain a valid target. So if we get a bounce here, right, pulling up the local range once again, and I'll come into chat in just a second. Locally, right, not only are you pushing into the golden pocket, and this is why I always say, like, is it valid? Someone will say, like, hey, is it valid to look for a long down here? Just because I'm not taking a trade doesn't mean it's not a valid position, right? For me personally, I want more confirmation. I might not get them, right? That's the risk of waiting for your confirmation. You might not get it. You might get the move up. That's totally fine. I just simply don't mind missing a move. But at the end of the day, if I had to look for a trade down here, it would have to be a long position, right? If I wasn't short from up here, I would not be looking to just short right now, right? It's too late. You've already missed the move down. You just wait for the next move, right? So for what it's worth, we're below the value area low. We're tapping into the golden pocket. This is support, right? And even if you look at the local Fibonacci retracement, right, you're also tapping the 786. This is the level that I looked at with you guys yesterday on the market update. Value area low, golden pocket. We also had the daily MPOC sitting in there, which I've since deleted. But technically, this zone does run down to the 786, right? So at the end of the day, right, even if I don't catch a long down here, potentially, if we reclaim value area low, that does open the door potentially into the POC. So, even if I look for a reclaim, I could potentially catch a long position there. But again, I'm just going to stick to my plan and wait for my confirmations. If we don't get them, right, well, maybe I'll catch the value area low long. So at the end of the day, right, locally, I wouldn't say anybody's crazy if you're long right now. You're not crazy, right? You're tapping into support. Honestly, where do I look for longs? Where do I look for shorts? I look for shorts at the value area high, longs at the value area low. I just don't have a ton of confirmation, right? I personally like to wait for that. If we get this move up, I want to cover some of the biggest levels of resistance above us. And just like that 786 daily naked point of control here is the line in the sand to the downside for the bigger move down, there is a big level above us that I would personally like to flip in order to anticipate a potential move into the value area high at $70,400. I'm going to cover that in a second, but I'm going to jump into the Chat here real quick. I just see chat moving up and moving up and moving up. I feel left out. I do. Shout out to the Aztecian Cactus. Black coffee. Look. The baristas, they know my order, man. Hey, Frank. I ordered this for delivery. They just know it's me because I'm the only person that orders this drink. Love the vibe here. Shout out to Etsy. Welcome in. Welcome in. We're vibing here every single day. Every single day. Let's see here. Shout out to New Earth Guardian. Up, up, left, right. A, B, B, A. Start, select. Absolutely. That's definitely what this price action feels like. But it ain't going to stop us. It ain't going to stop us from making the money. I feel like we're going up and then down and then up and then down and then down and then up. That will happen. That is going to happen. The key is to find those high time frame or high probability entries and make money on those ebbs and flows. Doesn't matter if you go up and then down more and then up and then down and then up. As long as you know what to look for, you can make money. Let's see. Sideways chop all weekend. Looking bearish and shorts loading up hard. Mr. Market wrecks them all on Sunday night into the Asian session, and we get the short squeeze. That would be nice. I don't really have a ton of preference. I mean, I guess actually I do, right? I do have the preference for a move down, but of course that is my preference. I am wise enough and been in this market long enough to know that the market does not always give you what you want. Although sometimes, a lot of times it does if you know what to look for, right? Like yesterday, one of the big things that we looked at for the continuation down, literally talking about if we're going to get the bigger push to the downside, the thing to look for is that 30-minute money flow coming into the red, indicating the continuation of the downtrend. Money flow crosses red. This makes you anticipate lower highs and lower lows for a break of structure to the downside for the high probability target of the value area low. Money flow stays red, and then the 8-hour red dot prints. Market cipher B 1/16th, bearish setup. Right, so when I was holding that short position yesterday, why did I continue to target this value area low, and why, when we wait for these high probability targets, do they oftentimes get tapped? Well, it's because we understand the context of the market, right? Once that 8-hour red dot prints, money flows in the red. This pump does not scare me, right? Not only was this the POC of the range, but it was also your local Fibonacci retracement, right? So I was saying to the premium Discord today, as you get this push up, right, I'm holding my short position and I'm saying to myself, what am I looking for, right? 30-minute money flow is in the red. 8-hour red dot is about to print. That makes me anticipate lower highs and lower lows. Where are the highest probability areas to look for a lower high? Golden pocket, 786 Fibonacci retracement. And this was kind of clean. You literally get the push up into that golden pocket and you get the low time frame bearish divergences, right? You get a nice 15-minute bear div here, higher highs, lower highs, kind of an exaggerated bear div there. Looking at the lower time frames, 10-minute, actually you didn't get it. 7-minute, you did get it on your bodies. And then I don't believe you got it on your 30-minute. So you got some low time frame divergences as well as some bearish CVD as well. That was another thing that you could have looked for there. But again, just basically looking at the high probability area for a lower high. Oh my God, price is pushing up. My short was up a bunch and now it's not up as much as it was. What do I do? Well, hey, money flows in the red, 8-hour red dot print. You anticipate the lower high and the lower low. Context is king. And then you make money. You get paid, right? Shout out to Anonymous. Yo, shout out to Anonymous. Good to see you, bro. Say good to see that you're still cooking the sauce. Let's go, baby. We're cooking the sauce. We're making money. Whether price goes up or down, even when it goes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, we still make money. Should I close my long? Should I close my long from 124K? Shout out to CandleMan. I think you're joking. But at this point, I don't know. Might be worth it to just hold and pray. I don't know. Not financial advice. Daily on the 786 at 64K. Yes, there is a daily there. And also the daily MPOC. That's really what I'm looking at. So yeah, I guess you do have like perfect confluence on that daily. So you got a little bit of confluence there. Still, plan would remain the same, right? It's like if you lose 786 daily, right, it's still support, right? But if you lose that, still it would remain the same, right? If you can't reclaim that, you would be looking for that drop down to 59.8. But yes, you do have a daily in there as well. Shout out to H-Bar. Say, can you do the squirrel noises that you do when you're looking for a new chart? I make a lot of noises. I think that's what he's talking about. Hey, yo, Jay. Shout out to King Crypto. Welcome in, brother. Welcome in. The price is on the golden pocket from $62,400 to $70,000 range. Shout out to Bond. Yes, we are currently sitting on the golden pocket. Boop. There she blows. Shout out to Gift Howler turn to raise. In a short since 16K. Let's go. Still holding it. Hey, bro. Hey, you might make it. You might be able to get that back into profit. Yeah, 1 hour bull div ever so slightly for the bullish case. Yeah, like if I had to build out the cases here, we actually looked at that on the premium. Yeah, you do have the bull div, right? Value area low. Lower lows on your price action, ever so slight. Bullish divergence on the 1 hour, right? But again, 1 hour money flow crossover into the red, 16-hour red dot printing, right? This oftentimes does indicate the trend will continue. So again, it's when I say it's a muddy situation, I do mean it, right? If this looked a lot different, right? Let's say you had a nice 1 hour bull div into that golden pocket like this, and your money flow is in the red, about to cross into the green with the confluence of a 16-hour green dot, that would be a lot higher probability of a setup, in my opinion, right? So, it's so hard. Everybody wants to know, can it bounce from this level? Can it bounce from that level, right? At the end of the day, you could bounce here, right? But I try to explain the reasons why I don't take the long position, right? And every long that I don't take doesn't mean, like, anytime I don't take a long doesn't mean it won't play out, right? Full disclosure, I did not take this long position, right? Doesn't matter to me, right? I just make money on the move down. And if I miss that short, I can catch money, maybe, or catch a move, maybe on a long, right? So you really have to have a plan, right? The reason I did not take this long was because it was not part of my plan. I didn't like the confluence down here. And at the end of the day, right, talking to the premium Discord about this earlier today as well, this was a valid setup, right? This was actually a setup that we had in the premium Discord, right? Push into the golden pocket 786, looking for the bullish divergences, valid long position, right? It just wasn't part of my personal plan. I did not take the long, right? What happens? You literally, to a T, push into the golden pocket 786 with your bull divs, with your bullish divergences, beautifully, right? Still a level of support. And you have the bullish divergences. Lower lows, higher lows, right? Never going to be able to draw these lines perfectly, but I don't know how much closer you can get than that, right? Big move up. So can you bounce from where we are right now? Yes. Reason I am not long is just because of the lack of confirmation. If it plays out, awesome, right? But again, I don't mind, just like I didn't mind missing this long because you can catch the short. I wouldn't mind missing this long either, right? And of course, we are also in a pretty bearish environment. And again, I'll talk to you guys about if we do get a local bounce from this golden pocket. Maybe if we hit the 786, I'll take a long position because I could take some more profit on my short and, give me a little bit more room to risk a little bit. But let's just say we hold the golden pocket and get a push up here. Biggest level of resistance I will be looking at personally, guys. Like, I'm very suspicious here just because of the bearish context. But if I pull up this larger range, right, we're just kind of floating in the profile. Like, it's just, honestly, other than just trading the range, value area high shorts, value area low longs, right, you just kind of have to be patient, right? But if we do get a push to the upside, when I look at this bear price action, right, if I was not looking at the volume profiles, I was just looking at this from a trend perspective, where would I be looking, right? Let's say 1 hour money flow is coming into the red. Maybe we can get a lower high and a lower low. If that is the case and we get a bounce from where we are right now, I would simply pull from the lower high to the lower low to pull this Fibonacci retracement. This is actually, we found this live on the premium live stream, right? This is a local confluent level of resistance. You have the golden pocket, you have the 786, You also have your anchored VWAP pulled from the high, floating right in there as well. And on top of that, when you pull up your macro range, your POC sits in there. This point of control, if I were not looking at the Fibonacci retracement, if I was not looking at the anchored VWAP, this POC is the most important local level of resistance, right? Why is that? Well, if we can't get above the POC and money flow continues out, the target is down here at the value area low, right? If it's going to be a lower high and an eventual lower low, right? You have to lose the 786 in the daily and the daily MPOC. But at the end of the day, right, like I'm not worried about like if I get stopped out in profit on my short and we wind up putting in a lower high and I don't catch the next short, I'm still holding my shorts from $91,000. So, you know, it's maybe another reason why I do prefer another drop down is so I could take some more profits on those massive shorts. But at the end of the day, I would say mark this off on your chart. 67,535 to 66,961. Golden pocket 786. If the money flow is coming out and we are going to put in a lower high, this would be the biggest area to look at, especially because of the context of that POC. Can't get back above the POC? Well, continue through the profile, right? Just like any volume profile, even the local one, right? Oh my God, money flow coming out on the 30-minute. You're looking for the lower high and the lower low. Where's that key level to put the lower high in? The highest probability area to put the lower high in. It's the Fibonacci retracement from the lower high to the lower low with the POC confluence and the money flow coming out, right? Again, on the 30-minute. At this point, you're anticipating a lower high, golden pocket 786 retracement, POC confluence, lower high, lower low. Same idea, right? And from the larger perspective here, this point of control is very important, right? If we break above this level, if we get above 67,550, this is where I would simply just look at this local volume profile, right? Start getting the move up, flip this to support, get above the POC. At that point, I'd be looking at the value area high. And who knows, right? At that point, maybe it's a higher low for the higher high. And then, you know, I'll be interested in shorts at this level as well. We have confluence. If we get the confirmations, we'll take it. If we could hold this level as support and break up, potential risk, or not risk, potential opportunity to break into that massive low volume gap. I'm going to mark this off on the chart and keep this here, right? From the highs, gap, boom. Break this and hold it. Just like the low volume gap on the way down, could be a big move up, right? And the first stop would be about 79 to 80K. And then, of course, that does run up to about $86,000 for the larger gap, right? And even from an auction, perspective, makes sense, right? Here's your value area. Here's your value area. Break out and impulse to the upside. Eventually, that value area low at about $86,000 would be your target, right? With the added sauce of understanding you have no volume here and shorts potentially getting squeezed massively. Break above this could be exciting. So there you go. But we'll see here. Just going to hide this for now. Bounce from the value area low. Shout out to Miss Aura. Yeah, and we'll see. And again, you don't always have to catch the low, right? If we hold this, get back up in here, right? Holding this as support, next target, local Fibonacci retracement. Break above that. And I would also include this local point of control as backup resistance at about 68K. Reclaim this. Well, guess what? You deviated below the low. You're now accepted back into your value area. Next target is the POC. Right? Get above the POC. Your next target is the value area high. Right? This liquidity's been swept out, though, so you could take that off the chart. Squeezed massively. Yeah, shout out to Mana. And again, like even from a not a psychological perspective, but just from like a theory perspective, it's like you got to think, right? People are scared, right? People are fearful. Typically, when people get scared, I don't really know. What would you guys say? What do you think? Do you think most people are looking for a huge bounce? Most people looking for a huge dump? You know, people are scared down here. And again, that was viewed on the order flow here. Like everyone's thinking like, oh my God, it's going to zero. We got to short this thing. This is our last time to short it, right? Early, right? We caught the short at the top. But it just kind of goes to show like people are bearish down here. That does oftentimes put you in a situation where if you break out of this profile, squeeze them. And again, volume gap. Nothing. It's very simple. It's the same thing that we called for on the move down. Be aware, guys. Wound up playing out perfectly, right? And I don't say that to brag. I don't say that to be like, we're the best, even though we might be. You have this massive low volume gap down here. This tells me that once you lose these lows, you are going to break into that gap. Where's the gap end? Right into this high volume node. Break in here, right? This is the reason I held my shorts from up here and made tens of thousands of dollars on that drop to the downside. Once we broke into that gap, it was kick back, put your feet on your desk, and print money. No support, nothing underneath you. Absolutely nothing. Fast fall to the downside. This will very likely behave the same way on the way up. So mark that off on your chart. Or just pull up the visible range volume profile and find the actual gap. Yeah, but other than that, locally, it's a chop fest. I don't know why it took me so long to think about that. You must be a cajillionaire. I'm not at the cajillionaire. I'm only a bajillionaire. Cajillionaire is actually much further away from bajillionaire than you would think. Hit that gap. Shout out to Minaj. Hit that gap. Hit that gap. Let's see. I think I missed a super chat here. Yo, Wick589. Shout out to Wick589. Thank you for the super chat, bro. He says, give your best Jason Statham impression. Baldy. No, God, I don't remember. I saw some like podcast where the guy was like, the heck is that? Dr. Phil impersonator. He goes, yeah, I also do Jason Statham. Here's my best Jason Statham impression. Hey. Oh, man. Oh, God, that's good. Hi. Mind the gap. Hey. Do you share your POC config? Shout out to Mike Miko. As far as like my volume profile settings, if you go to the beginner series on the channel, I show you how I set up all my tools, how I use them to do my analysis, as I kind of just explained here. And then I also show you all the settings that I use. That's Adam Ray, the comedian. He's hilarious, dude. Yeah, that guy is hilarious. That Jason Statham impression was cracking me up. Hi. He's a good friend. Shout out to Rudy. Do you know him personally? Sol, yeah, we could I'll take a look at Ethereum and at Solana for you guys tonight. Of course, overall theory and sentiment would, obviously heavily rely on Bitcoin. But yeah, we'll take a look at some of those key levels. Jason Statham got called to the parking lot, and yeah, that's what it was. He gets called to the parking lot, and he parked at a disabled parking spot, and his reaction was, "Hi." Oh man! Shout out to Jason Statham. He comes into chat once in a while. He's in the CandleMafia. Sweet, thanks, man. I first learned about you by looking at Market Cypher B. Yeah, shout out to Mike Miko. If anybody knows who Patrick Wieland is, it's kind of lit. Yo, Mafia runs deep. Patrick Wieland is self-proclaimed #1 day trader on YouTube. I tend to believe it. But he's awesome. He's one of like bigger like prop firm trading YouTubers, and I jumped into his live stream and super chatted him, and he actually invited us to go down to his headquarters, which we're probably going to go ahead and do at some point. But he's awesome. He's super entertaining, and I dropped in there, and a bunch of people were like, "Yo, Frankie's the Market Cypher volume profile GOAT." Mafia runs deep, even in the stock world, or the futures world, I guess. Bulls versus Bears, baby. Shout out to Aditya. I don't know how to say her name. I apologize. Shout out to Michael says, Frankie, love the show. Question on the long and short play. Do you have a position, a whole share to play? Thanks for the video. Shout out to Michael. I'm not sure exactly what you're asking there. Yeah, dang. If you could reword that. I don't know if I'm having a stroke. Yeah, I don't know. I'm like looking for something else to say. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you're asking. If you just I don't know. Ask it in a different way, maybe. You got to speak Candelese. Candelanese. D-Money is cool, too. Yeah, D-Money's the man, dude. Trades NASDAQ over on his channel every morning. Yeah, shout out to Crypto Night. Yeah, D-Money's the man. All right, yeah, and Wagwan for XRP. Yeah, we'll take a look at XRP too. Let's jump into some of the altcoins here, guys. And I'm going to go over the higher time frames for Ethereum because, again, like the local situation is pretty muddy and also just very heavily reliant on Bitcoin. But looking here at Ethereum, again, right, like no significant bullish confirmations at the low and the higher time frames, right? We do not have the daily bull div. We don't have a 2-day bull div. Again, I can't promise they're going to come, but what I can say is we can look out for them. If we do continue down, put in the lower low, put in the higher low, right? Then we can say, hey, now we have pretty big bullish confirmations at the lows. Maybe money flow starts to come back up. It would be much more confident to look for a big push to the upside if we had that case, right? Right now, you are deviating below this macro profile. You just don't really have a ton of beautiful confirmation, right? Deviate below the low, bullish divergences, money flow comes up. In that case, this looks a lot better for a continuation to the upside, flip the value area low, maybe be able to move into the golden pocket. And it's very similar to Bitcoin where if you start cracking these highs, right, again, you're not always going to get the bullish divergences at the lows, right? Sometimes you just get the push to the upside, but you can see here, you deviate below, lower lows on price action, higher lows on your momentum waves. You start to move up as you're about to reclaim the value area low. You have your money flow coming up. POC is next. You stay in the profile. Money flow goes green. Push into the value area high. The difference between these two scenarios is that you had bullish divergences down here. You do not have bullish divergences down here. So biggest key levels to the upside that I would say personally I would be watching would be the value area low here, 2279. Once you get above there, right, clear target, hold inside here. Next stop would very likely be the point of control. Pull up the visible range volume profile because, again, right, you do have a little bit of a gap there. Gap really sits here. Let me pull up some levels here real quick. See if we have any MPOCs in here. Yeah, up towards the point of control, which I believe is already marked. Nope. Let's drag this over here. You got a weekly MPOC right there. Let's check the daily. You got a daily MPOC right here. You also got a daily MPOC backing up that weekly. You also have a daily MPOC here. I'm not going to mark out every single key level, but just try to find the higher time frame levels. Let's pull up the monthly MPOCs. Interesting. We don't have an MPOC right on the start of that high volume node that we were just looking at, which I would prefer to see. But this gives you some nice confluence, right? Big key levels. Value area low is always going to be resistance until proven otherwise. And then the bigger target, once you reclaim that value area low, would be the point of control, which I will label here, to the daily MPOCs, right? Yeah. So these are high time frame targets, right? If we end up, pull up that visible range again. You know, again, if I don't incorporate this price action here, this is what's creating that high volume node. So maybe as we push up, we could kind of view this previous profile to find the local levels. But from a high time frame perspective, the biggest levels I would watch. Come on, there we go, right? Like not a lot of volume. You have a high volume node here and a new high volume node here. Break above these highs. Value area low is really the only thing holding you back. Once you reclaim that, hey, maybe you can get that move into the POC, right? So this sits between 26.23 to 27.33, and then the value area low sits at about 22.75, call it. And then, again, I don't want to, like, super overcomplicate things for you guys, but I'm kind of doing this for myself, to be quite honest. I believe I have this other range marked out somewhere. Right here, right? So locally, before you start looking for that big gap, right? When I incorporate this price action, you can see we have a big high volume node here, right? So like you don't want to ignore these levels, right? So I'll actually mark these gaps out. Come on, there we go, right? So you have a gap here, right? Basically hold these highs. First gap sits right here. Break above this high volume node, not a lot holding you back into this local value area low at about 24.37. And then the continuation, once you break out of here, right, this is a much more significant gap. But then once you get out of that volume profile, well, hey, you could push back up in here. And let me actually go ahead and grab all this, put this into a separate folder. Take that off, take that off, take that off. So just marking out these gaps. First one sits between 21.36 and 24.33. Then you got a little bit of resistance, again, on your local volume profile, right? And you can use this as context, right? So if I were to look at this, maybe we won't even look at the super high time frame perspective, but it's like very similar to Bitcoin getting the squeeze up towards about $80,000, right? That would be like Ethereum getting the move up in here, right? And then once you fill that gap, value area low is resistance until proven otherwise. Probably bing bong around here. Once you reclaim value area low, you can look to go to the POC, flip the POC, go to the value area high. And then once we break out here, another pretty big low volume gap into about 28.64. I would say this is kind of the equivalent to Bitcoin coming up to 86K. It's a little different, right? Because Bitcoin and Ethereum's price action have been quite different this cycle. So there you go. Maybe I'll keep a lookout. I'll just kind of first take it step by step, right? Nothing really here. Big gap. Local volume profile. So break above here, potential short squeezes into about 24.51. And then we can start playing around with this volume profile. And just very simply, auction market theory, you have value, you have value. When price impulses out of a value area, it is very high probability that it will seek out previous value. And if you're not looking at this volume profile, you're just looking at that as like, hey, if we impulse out of here, next major target would be up here. And then somehow price magically starts working its way up towards that magical target, right? And why does that oftentimes play out? Well, it's because look at this low volume gap. It just assists you on that move up there. And then maybe we play around in here a little bit, right? And then once we break out there, we can look for the bigger move up. So this volume profile sits between value area low 24.52, POC 25.32, value area high 26.72. Until then, you're in the nasty chop zone, right? But again, no situation am I looking for a short here. This is support, right? You have the value area low, very similar to Bitcoin, right? But pretty much the same price action. Golden pocket 786, value area low. The only thing I could look for here is longs. From a confirmation perspective, right? Do I see beautiful, beautiful confirmation? Not really, right? I guess you had a little bit of a 45-minute bull div here. Let's check the 30-minute. 30-minute bull div. I wouldn't say it's super pretty, but at least a little more than you have on Bitcoin. So there you go. And then high time frame, right? Weekly money flow still in the red, right? Obviously, we're in a bear market here, so all this remains the same. One thing you can pay attention to, not only on Ethereum, but more specifically Bitcoin, is I was going to talk about this last night on the market update, but I wound up not. The green dot's now disappeared, right? But we were printing a green dot here. One thing you can look for if you want a simple signal to watch for a bigger move up is if you could print, we'll see what happens on Sunday. If you could print this green dot on the weekly, this 10-hour money flow crossover, it's a market cipher B 1/16th setup. Not something I look for to enter a trade necessarily, but weekly green dot, the 1/16th time frame of the weekly is a 10-hour. This 10-hour money flow is technically trending to the upside, right? So if we could get that weekly green dot and this 10-hour money flow starts skirting back to the zero line and looking for a crossover into the green, that is a market cipher B 1/16 strategy, potentially indicating a bigger trend continuation to the upside, right? Maybe getting you into that gap. So again, I don't know if that's going to play out, right? But you don't need to know if it's exactly going to play out like that, right? If you find the long position, then you can look to hold it, right? As you're in that long position, you can say to yourself, very similar to yesterday for my short, if I was able to see that 30-minute money flow stay in the red with our 16-hour red dot, another market cipher B 1/16 strategy, I'm feeling comfortable in my short from up here, right? Drop down, lower high, I'm looking for a lower high and a lower low based off my 116 strategy. I'm feeling really cozy in my short position, looking for the continuation of that downtrend. It'd be the same thing. Let's just say, for example, I was holding a long position here, which full disclosure, I'm not. If I was holding a long position here, let's say we get the big push up, right? Stop out of the short in profit. This starts playing out at that time, right? If I see price start to push up, maybe we're approaching this high. That 10-hour money flow starts to cross over into the green. I can look for the pullbacks to be higher lows and higher highs, eventually maybe giving you that big push up. Again, we have not printed that signal yet, but it's something we can look for. You have to try to like front run when these signals are popping up before they actually happen. I don't love this VWAP. It's inverted. But we'll see. If we get the green dot, watch that 10-hour money flow crossover. You can write that on a Post-it note on your desk. Watch the 10-minute money flow crossover in line with the weekly green dot printing. If that happens, potentially big bullish signal. There you go, H-bar. There's the there's the squirrel call. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys. We are doing a giveaway at the end of the stream. And we'll take a look at Solana. I'll take a look at XRP. Shout out to Not a Financial Advisor. Also, fellow not financial advisor here. I have quite a, he said, nice stream tonight. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for being here. Shout out to Philip, said, do you see a possible outcome like 2022? We never come back higher than that 200 in the weekly. I assume you mean the 200-week moving average. I don't know exactly what you're looking at. Okay. Everybody calm down. I don't know why that just happened. My mouse got stuck. We never come, something like this maybe, but we're not below the 50 weeks. So I don't know exactly what you mean by that. Shout out to Philip. Sorry, I wish I can give you a better answer. Okay, let's take a look at Solana real quick. Bada boom, bada bing. All right, so Solana, same deal here. Bounced off the golden pocket, similar to Bitcoin bouncing off its larger 786 from the low to the high. Let's come on to a higher time frame here. I mean, we're inside the profile here. Let's take this daily money flow. Yeah, it's kind of flat if you ask me. But I would just look at this as a volume profile, right? We're holding above the value area low. Let me pull a new fib here. Technically, the doorway, right, or the line in the sand here on Solana would be the 786, sitting at about 72.49. If we end up getting another drop and we lose that 786, I'd look to take out this low at about 67.37. And then if I just pull this local fib, same thing as Ethereum and Bitcoin, right? You're just pushing into your local golden pocket 786. So locally, I would say this is your most important support. You really want to hold inside this profile. And let me actually just pull this fib back up as well. So locally, lose this 786. I'm inclined to look for a break of this low, which would send you down to this 786, which is your last opportunity to get the bigger bounce within the profile. And then once you lose that, right, I'd be looking to take out this low here, 67.31. So lose this, I'm looking here. Lose this, I'm looking here. Does that make sense? And then, of course, you could break this into, this is a pretty clean range. You could pull this as a volume profile, right? Of course, always looking for shorts at the highs, longs at the lows. So here, would I be looking for a short? No. I would only be able to look for longs here. You have confluence, macro value area low, local value area low, 786 golden pocket, right? So you're definitely pushing into support here. Not impossible to get a bounce. And then, I mean, this is traded pretty nicely, right? Even, I mean, I obviously shorted Bitcoin up here, but same thing on Solana. You deviate nicely above the high. You get the SFP. Back into the range, can't get out. Back to the POC, high probability target. Once you get accepted into the profile, you can't break out. You fill the range in full, which you've already done, right? So the only thing I can look for down here is long positions. Do we have any significant confirmation here? You got maybe some 30-minute bull divs. Again, money flow not super confluent here. Same thing as Bitcoin, right? Money flow coming out on the 1 hour, 16-hour red dot printing, right? So you are fighting that. But again, when it comes to local ebbs and flows in the market, you're at support here, right? So even if you do continue the trend down, right, you are at support. So again, not a place where I would look for a short. I would have to wait for a retracement. Is this a blood diamond? It wasn't on Ethereum. It is on Solana. So yeah, I mean, can you bounce from here? Yes. But again, you're fighting a higher time frame bias here. So we'll see. Oh, you got a nice little sweep of this low. 30-minute bull div. So, and then like if you do get the bounce here, right, plan is very clear. Let's just say you've already kind of ran through this golden pocket. But let's say you do get the bounce here from the value area low 786 zone. Plan there would be very clean. Please be confluent with the POC. There it is, right? So just like Bitcoin, very similar resistance zone. And then you're just looking at that is hold above the low. Technically, you have some bull divs there. Again, you are fighting some like higher time frame context there. But if you bounce here, retrace, right? Again, the context is the 1 hour money flow indicating potential lower highs and lower lows. Doesn't mean you can't bounce from here to here, though. And at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that you can't just launch out of nowhere. You just don't have like super good setup or confluence. But at the end of the day, support, if you do get a significant bounce here, biggest level to look at would be the POC, golden pocket 786 zone. Is this confluent with the anchored VWAP as well, like on Bitcoin? It is, right? So not a bad level of resistance there. No MPOCs. So locally, I would view Solana from this context. Value area low, 80,045, 786. Again, the line in the sand before taking out this low, sitting at 79.06. POC, $85. Value area high, 88.40. Right. So if I take this larger range off the chart, let me just do this real quick. And I were to view this just locally, very similar to Bitcoin, right? Just in a local range. Shorts at the highs, longs at the lows. Shorts at the highs, longs at the lows. And you do have some bull divs there. So I would just be careful because you're fighting that higher time frame money flow, right? Maybe the 10-minute, 15-minute money flow comes up. Maybe your 5-minute money flow crosses green with an 80-minute green dot. Is it there? That's already confirmed. So I would just be cautious there on the pumps. This would be the next major target. Hold the low, bullish divergences. If you get the bounce, POC is your next likely target. Golden pocket 786, money flows coming out. You could look for a lower high and a lower low. If you get above the 786, you just look for the value area high. So there you go. There's some local levels on Solana. Is there any real any reason to be looking at alts, being that they all follow the direction of Bitcoin? At the end of the day, couldn't you just trade the same way on all main coins? Yeah, shout out to Thomas. That's kind of what I would. That's why I obviously oftentimes guys cover like I'll take altcoin requests, but at this point, right, everything is very likely to follow Bitcoin, right? So I've kind of only been covering like the big ones, if not just looking at Bitcoin recently. Especially as a new trader, I always say you don't want to get caught up trading altcoins. Number one, they're way more volatile, which of course can end in higher percentage gains. But a lot of times you could see a beautiful setup on an altcoin, and then if you're not paying attention to Bitcoin and Bitcoin dumps, obviously that setup on the altcoin's probably not going to play out. So yeah, I do tend to agree with you on that. SFP the low. Let me check Bitcoin here real quick. Did we get the move on Bitcoin? Let's see here. Oh. Hold up. It's the second we start looking at altcoins. See, like, this is every time we move away, we start getting moves. I should go to the bathroom real quick. We'll get a real move. Where's my golden pocket? Ooh, nice little SFP of that local low. Little 30-minute bull div now, right? Because down here, you do not have the bullish divergences. You have lower lows and lower lows. Now, you have lower lows. I mean, you got the fresh red dot printing, so it's not confirmed just yet. 15-minute trigger wave. Okay. No bullish divergence. Technically, wick to, technically, you got a wick divergence there. Let's check that 4-hour real quick. 4-hour VWAP. It's not super close to a green dot, but you got your 15-minute money flow attempting to come up, 15-minute trigger wave, and an SFP. Yeah, I mean, you lose that golden pocket. Next stop would be the 786, but you got that SFP. Nice little recovery there. 1-hour VWAP kind of looking nasty. It's actually funny, too, because let me pull up the, where's that liquidity end? 64,755. Oh, didn't come that deep. But you did have a little liquidity sitting down there locally. All right, this is before I update it. Once I update it. Come on. Dipped into that liquidity a little bit. So you did have the liquidity down there as well for the SFP. All right, so let's see here. I would still say value area low, next key level. 24-minute red dot confirmed. If we can get the bull divs to confirm here, I would look for a little bit of a push up and then hopefully get above that value area low and push into the PLC. Should have put an alert on this low so we saw that SFP forming. Shout out to Edward. Liquidity grab. Absolutely. A little SFP, baby. Shout out to RH. Says, Frankie, you say when it reaches the value area high, it goes down. But on ETH, you're saying it will go higher from the value area high. Shout out to RH. Can you explain? Yeah, shout out to RH, right? Well, so, of course, when you're in a volume... Whoops. When you're in a volume profile, it's in a ranging context, right? Price ranges about 80% of the time. So in a ranging context, right, when we trade these value areas, deviations above the highs are where you look for shorts, right, or even pushes into the value area highs, of course, with confirmation. And then on the lows, that's where you want to look for the longs, right? Kind of the similar situation that you're looking at on Bitcoin right now. We're at a value area low. I'm not going to be looking for shorts there. I can only look for longs. Now, obviously... price is not going to range around forever. That would be beautiful. If the price just did this, I mean, it'd be super easy to trade that. Of course, right, price ranges not 100% of the time, but about, I would say 75 to 80% of the time. So eventually, right, you're going to come up to that value area high, and eventually you're going to get a breakout and an impulse, right? The trick there is trying to figure out when you have the high probability of a breakout rather than a rotation back down. And that's where your confirmations and your context comes into play. So, for example, this range up here was very highly respected, right? So more often than not, you want to, and again, look for shorts at the highs. Look for longs at the lows. You're not always guaranteed going to be taking a long at the low and a short at the high. But obviously, price ranging a majority of the time, and then eventually you get the impulse, right? How do you identify when the range is going to break out? And this is, I believe, what we were looking at on Ethereum, but either way stands true. How do you know when this is going to break down or if it's just going to rotate back to the upside, right? Well, personally, in the premium Discord, we took shorts here at around $124,000, right? Looking for the value area low of the range for a high probability fulfill of that volume profile, right? Once we get down here and we start to see retracements to the upside, the way you can identify or try to identify whether price is going to impulse out of a range to the downside or the upside, right? Like down here, you could still take longs at the lows, but when you see your money flow trending out over time like this on a higher time frame, there's a much higher probability that, right, money flows in the green, you bing bong around. As you're bing bonging around, putting in higher highs on price action, money flow is coming out, right? So once you get back down to this low, sure, you could take a local scalp long here. You could even take a little scalp long to the POC here. But over time, right, over the longer term, you are going to be anticipating a high time frame downtrend, right? So in a case like this, you would say, hey, I'm at the low, I'm getting a bounce. On this bounce, what is money flow doing? Money flow is clearly trending to the downside. So you would be looking for lower highs and lower lows to eventually put in a lower low on price, impulsing you out of that range. So it is reliant on what money flow looks like, right? Like if we were to be coming to the bottom of the range and money flow is not about to cross into the red, well, hey, maybe you can rotate back up to the high and then, whatever. And similarly, right, for a move to the upside, I'll try to find a range that we broke out to the upside. What happens here, right? Well, of course, you have a volume profile. Once you come up to these highs, right, obviously, shorts at the highs, longs at the lows, shorts at the highs, longs at the lows, shorts at the highs, longs at the lows, fake out, longs at the lows. You could look for shorts at the highs. But of course, eventually it's going to break out one direction or the other. Which way is this likely to break out in, right? Well, probably going to be likely to break out to the upside, right? So it is reliant on context, right? So as we push up here, and we actually longed this value area low before this massive leg up, caught this short from here up into the, or no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of down here. Same rule applies. Long in the low, we get up to the high, money flow is thick in the green, we look for the breakout, we rode that from like 40K all the way up into the 70s. But same thing here, right? You get up to the high, what does your price action look like, right? Every time I come up to a high, I don't just short, right? I say, what does price action look like? What looks like the continuation? Well, here, money flow is coming up, indicating higher lows and higher highs, right? So once you come into your key level of support, being the POC right here, I would be looking for higher lows and higher highs to come, eventually impulsing us out of that range, right? So here, you could look for a move up. You have to know what to look for. Whereas in here, right, you deviate above the high, but what is your money flow doing? It's trending to the downside, indicating a potential short back into the bottom of the range. And then even here, you're crossed over into the red. You would be looking for lower highs and lower lows, which you did get. And I can almost guarantee you that that lower high not only came in at the value area high, but I would almost guarantee you also coming in at Golden Pocket 786 Fibonacci retracement. Right? So would I be looking for a massive breakout of this range to the upside here? Would I look for something like that? No. Why? Money flow is coming out. Would I look for that here? Yes. Why? Money flow is coming up. So there you go. He said explain. We explained. So there you go. All right, let's see. She continuing? She's trying. It's Rob's birthday. Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. Is he in here? Shout out to Rob the Crypto Snob. He does have 365 birthdays a year, guys. Oh my God, it's Rob's birthday. Shout out to K Diggity. Phoebe says hi, K. She also did say, I know he's here, Phoebe. He's here. I know it's okay. It's okay. She said you haven't called her in months. She's upset. She's upset. I would give her a call, make her feel a little better. Shout out to K Diggity. Peep the poll. Oh, God. Should Frankie shave his head? 48% yes. I knew that was coming. 38% no. 14% said egghead Frankie might do better TA. 14%. People like, don't change the TA. Keep the TA the way it is. Oh, man. Well, as I said, guys, a bet's a bet. I said if you guys voted more, I shave my head. I said I wouldn't shave my head. I said it wouldn't matter. I don't know. Maybe we'll shave my head. Well, we could set a goal. I would be willing to shave my head if we. It would have to be a pretty crazy thing. I call her at least once every 2 weeks. Shout out to K Diggity. Shaved head is way bigger, makes you look smarter. So do glasses. I did just get scammed like a rack for new glasses that I honestly just realized I don't even know where they are. Yikes. Democracy. This is a dictatorship. You have to do it, Frankie. Oh, man. I want to change my vote. I think you can, New Earth. Don't shave your point of the show. It's to make your own discussions. Shout out to Martin. Now it's time to start showing the hair. And hey, guys, I'm in my 30s now. I don't know how much longer I'm going to have this hair. And for those OGs that know, is it a toupee? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Don't mess with the success, Frankie. Man, everything went downhill. Bitcoin was not supposed to go to zero until Frankie Kendall shaved his head. Do it on stream. If I ever did shave my head, I would 100% do it on stream. Should Frankie shave his junk is the real question. Oh, man, we're unhinged. We're unhinged here, guys. We're losing track, right? We're getting off track here. Talk about a Friday with the CandleMafia. Sounds like expensive shades, bro. Yeah, shout out to Philly Skills. Yeah, they got some special progressive lenses. They're like, you need these. $1,000. They actually overcharged me too. They overcharged me it was like $1,400, and I was just like, oh, okay. Like I don't really know how much glasses cost. Yeah, here. Take the Amex. And then they're like, we're gonna credit you $350 because we overcharged you. And I was like, dang, I already felt like you guys were scamming me. Let's see that piece. I'll remove the toupee, guys. If we get 1,000 likes on the stream, I'll remove the toupee. Shave everything. Like a baby. Oh, man. Oh, God. It's Friday, guys. Thank God. W Premium Sauce earlier. Yeah, shout out to D in the premium live stream, I'm assuming. 2 streams in one day. Premium and free. Let's hit 1,000 likes. Oh, man, I do actually have a shaver, too. I'm not doing it, guys. I can't do it. We got to hit, like, if we hit 200, when we hit 250,000 subscribers, that should take a little while. When we hit 250,000 subscribers, I'll shave my head live on stream. Don't clip that. Shout out to ABS. Says, thanks, Frankie, for still being here and being a great man. Love your work. Last 6 months was rough. Just hearing your voice brightens the day. Market pulling back. Time to load up. Shout out to ABS. I appreciate you, brother. We're just here doing what we love, man. That is the truth. Unless I shave my head, then I will hate my job, at least for that one stream. And then the funny thing is, I would shave my head, be like, look, guys, and then I'd put my hat on for the next, 3 months until it grows back. Too late. Tony already clipped it. I don't know when we're going to hit 250K subs. I'm going to stop posting. I'm going to stop doing everything. But Tony will hit me up whenever that happens. Like, yeah, bro, remember this? I'll be like, dang. That would be an epic meme in the Discord. Do it for the Discord. Frankie, I'm late. Can you start from the beginning? All right, let's go back to the beginning here, guys. I'm just kidding. We can't do that. But real quick, guys, I guess take a look at XRP. We do have some giveaways to get to. Mrs. Candles is not here, guys. Weekend, Frankie Candles is off the leash. What am I going to do? What should I do this weekend, guys? Mrs. Candles isn't here. Should I have a giant party? Should I go out and be a degenerate? Should I go hit the late night clubs? What do the kids do nowadays? They probably just sit inside. What do I think would be a good entry for BTC? Shout out to Adam. Depends on good entry for a short, good entry for a long, good entry for a long on the 5-minute, the 10-minute, the 4-hour, good long-term spot bag entries. I would definitely need to know some more information to get my input on that. 6-hour stream incoming. Yeah, I guess we could just kind of chill. Crypto party. Mrs. Candles ain't here. She's not tapping her foot by the door. Pop some wheelies. Pop some wheelies in the Supra. Should I get a motorcycle? Mrs. Candles come back. I have like dirt bikes and another Supra. I'm not going to lie, guys. I would buy another Supra. It's my favorite car ever on earth. I did not think I was even going to like it that much. I love that car. I really do. Just wanted to pay for the electric for the haircut. Shout out to Thomas. No, I appreciate you, Thomas. Don't support the cause, though. Don't support the cause, man. No. You guys ain't taking my hair from me. No, I won't do it. 250K subs. I'll do it. I'll actually do that. I don't know how many of you guys will still be here, depending on how fast we hit it. But when we hit 250K, I'll shave the head. That's worth it. I'll bring the dirt bike over, Frankie. Shout out to Bailey. I grew up riding dirt bikes. I just don't have one here. I'll have to go back to New York and ride the dirt bike back. But yeah, bring over your dirt bikes. Let's go ride. Get a mohawk? Yeah, maybe we'll do that. It might be funnier to do some crazy thing with my hair. Mohawk would be crazy. Supras are awesome. Yeah, people will, technically, I have a BMW. I get the B58. It's not a Mark IV. But my neighbor has a Mark IV Supra and an R32. I think it's an R. What's the difference between the R34 and R32? Is it just the 4-door versus the 2-door? I think it's an R32 Skyline right-hand drive. And I drove past his house, and he gave me the thumbs up. I got to hit him up. I think he works at a tuning place, which I'm obviously going to do to my Supra. So I got to hit him up and make friends with him. And he has a Mark IV Supra. Should I swap? No one could. I don't know why people talk trash. They're like, nice BMW, dude. I'm like, bro, you're acting like a B58 isn't fire. But you know what I could do? Usually everybody just shows love to the car. But there's a lot of hate online for the Mark IV Supras, or the Mark V Supras? Mark V Supras. For the B58 Supras, people hate on it because it's not a 2JZ. What if I swap it for a 2JZ? I would do that. I wouldn't be able to do the work myself. But I'm going to hit that guy up and be like, yo, I'll buy your Mark IV, and you take that 2JZ, you bring it to your shop, you swap that 2JZ into my new Supra. I would do that. And then someone will pull up at a red light and be like, nice BMW, bro. That'd be sick. GoFundMe for 250K subs. Asia Open's going to be wild. Maybe. We'll see. Maybe we'll get some action here. It'll be different. It'll be hard to tell the difference between you and Tino's stream. If I shave my head, I'll have to go to his studio and go live. I wouldn't be as good. I wouldn't be able to do the accent very well. Just do it. 2JZ, new Supra. That would be fire. Cars with letters and numbers. R32 is the early 90s. R33 is the mid 90s, and R34s is the late 90s, early 2000s. Shout out to Crypto Wanderer. You just answered a question that I have had for such a long time and just never Googled it. So I don't actually know which one he has, but it's a right-hand side Skyline, and it's sick. And he just got it sitting outside, like in his driveway, in the rain and everything. And I'm like, dang. 2JZ would decimate all at Race Wars. Yeah. I think that'd be sick. A lot of people wouldn't expect that. Show up to Cars and Coffee and pop in with a new Supra. It's just a 2JZ. Anyway, let's continue on. But I do love my Supra, guys. I'm not going to lie. B58 is fire. And the turbo, woo, baby. So loud. But anyway, let's see here. I'll take a quick look at XRP, and then we'll start giving away some USDT so you could put it towards your Mark IV Super Fund. All right, where are we at here? Where's XRP? We haven't taken a look at this in a while. Again, I haven't really been focusing on the altcoins too much recently. For pretty good reason. It's we can get rid of some of these local levels. I'll go high time frame here on XRP. Let's take a look here. So we're at the value area high of the previous range, right? I'll just hide this for now. This is a key level, guys. I mean, if we're going to bounce, it's got to happen from here. If we start getting accepted into this profile, not looking as good, right? Because there's not, I mean, I can pull some of these. I think I already have this on the chart. I'll just pull it real quick. Come on. I'll give you the local support. But at the end of the day, just to be clear, getting stuck under this value very high at about $1, call it $1.38. We can't decisively get out of here. And again, I don't know what this is going to look like, guys. You could bounce back up here, range around, lose it again. But just to give you the overall context, if we get accepted into this profile and cannot get back out, you got the local levels here, $1.22, value area high. POC locally sitting at $1.09, value area low locally sitting at about $1.01. Maybe you get caught up in here. Other than that, separate from these local levels, major high time frame target. I'm not saying you have to go down here, but at the end of the day, if you can't hold, maybe you just bing bong around in that local profile. Major POC sitting down here at 83 cents. So we really, for XRP, you want to get out of this profile. You got to hold above that value area high. Again, call it about $1.39, $1.40. Get above here. Maybe we could see that bigger retracement. And if we see the short squeeze on Bitcoin, pull up the VPVR here real quick. There's your gap. Start cracking these highs. You got a bit of a gap, just like we looked at down below. Our key levels down here were very important. If we lost this, very fast drop down to where? Where is that key level? We brought up every single live stream. Value area high, right? And it could very likely be a fast drop down there because of the low volume gap. So just like on Bitcoin, same thing. Start getting up here. Start playing around with about $1.52. Low volume, right? You can even see here, we started breaking into it. You start flying into that low volume gap. If you can get accepted in here and we get a big squeeze on Bitcoin, could look for XRP to push up into about $1.82. Now, again, you're holding on by the skin of your teeth. You're kind of on the edge of a cliff here because there's not a lot underneath you. You don't have any weekly levels. You don't have any monthly levels, right? You just have a massive impulse. Fast moves up sometimes equal fast moves down. That's why we do not want to get accepted into this profile. And you're fighting here. You got to get out of here. So gap above, starting at about $1.50. That's where I would say it starts. Even here, right? You get above here, pretty fast move up. And then, of course, get above these highs, you can fill the rest of the gap. And then I would say the line in the sand for the bigger move down would just simply be your golden pocket 786, right? Golden pocket, you're already bouncing off of. If you have to come down and test that 786, that's your line in the sand. You lose this, could be the start of that bigger drop down. The one thing I will say, though, is that little profile that I just brought up does give you a little bit of volume underneath you. So I just don't know how, I mean, it's just not really, probably not significant, right? Let's take a look at this. Come on, volume. There we go. Yeah, I mean, like there's that POC in that local range I just pulled up from here, sitting at about $1.09. Other than that, right, like not a lot of volume in here. So definitely on the edge of a cliff here. Mark off the 786. $1.23. That would be the last level, in my opinion, to bounce from. Lose that, probably going to get the faster move down. Maybe towards, you pretty much already held that $1.09 level right here almost. But That's your kind of big level. Lose that, yikes, 83 cents could be in the cards. So lose this, headed here. Lose this, I'd say headed here. Hopefully, we can get above here and crack into the low volume gap, at least for a bigger push to the upside, even if it ends up in a lower high. High time frame, weekly money flow still in the red. No bullish divergences. Nothing really to update here. High time frame money flow just still coming out. Super choppy, super wonky over here. No bull divs locally here either. So your goal here is to reclaim value area high. Get into the gap. Other than that, watch those key levels to the downside. Let's see. There's a huge fair value gap on XRP. I don't know if you're talking locally or if you're talking about like something in here. Narrative-based retail rug pull. Shout out to New Earth Guardian. Let us know what you're talking about, brother. Shout out to ABS said Frankie definitely needs to do a Candles in Cars meet. That would be awesome. Shout out to ABS. I don't know where we would do it, but that would be sick. Premium is awesome. Shout out to Dylan Crypto. Shout out to you, brother. I appreciate that. I don't really like push my Discord too heavy. I let the mafia push it. People just love the Discord for good reason. But I'm happy that you guys are finding value. Frankie, I trade on my phone using Bybit and do all my TA on Bybit. Should I adopt a better habit? Shout out to OCB. People ask me all the time, Frankie, what kind of trading setup should I buy? Like, what kind of PC do I need? Trade on this. You could trade on a Chromebook. You could trade on anything. The only thing I would say is, like, the more important thing is, like, obviously you could do TA on your phone. You could trade from your phone. You could do TA on your computer and execute on your phone. I trade mostly from my computer. It's just nice to be able to sit down and, like, see a big screen to do the TA. But whether this is a custom-built gaming PC or a Chromebook, right, it's really just the screen real estate that's the most important. So, I don't think at the end of the day, you got to use the tools that you have at your exposure, right? So if you have whatever you like. That's probably fine. Trading from your phone is completely fine. The only thing, it just kind of annoys me to do the TA on my phone because you're just like on that small screen trying to do it. It doesn't really matter. High leverage shorts up to 68K. We're on the edge of them. Oh, approaching the value area low here. We'll see. Yeah, longs and shorts cooked there. But yeah, plan remains the same here, guys, as the beginning of the stream. Only difference that we saw happen live was that you did get the bullish divergences here. So, yeah, support. If you bounce, value area low is your next major key level. Get above this. Even locally here, I'll just pull this profile like this. Oh, wow, dang. Actually, never mind. I did assume this would be a little bit of a bigger gap. If I pull it here, it'll be a gigantic gap. But next target's to the upside. If you can get above the value area low reclaim, I would say the biggest target, obviously with the POC becoming your next major target, technically you do have the bull divs at the low. Flip the value area low, POC becomes open. I would just pay attention to your golden pocket 786 here. Again, confluent with your anchored VWAP. Of course, you could reject more local levels, but I'm not going to bring up every single level here. Shared some more local levels in the Discord, but yeah, I would say, reclaim value area low. I'm not here to tell you where to enter your trades, but you are fighting medium time frame context. So I would just be careful of lower highs and lower lows over the medium term. This would be probably the biggest level to look at for a potential lower high if we are going to get it. And again, the reason for that is not only Golden Pocket 786, but also the macro POC of the range, which is a big key level that if we cannot get above, keeps that value area low open as a target. So we'll see. I may take a long position if we can get the reclaim of the value area low. But until then, I am still, maybe I'll lock in some more profits on the short position here, but just holding the short from the high here. And yeah, not too shabby. When was this entered? Yesterday, right? Yeah, no. 2 days ago. So up almost 3K there. That's what she said. Shout out to Rudy. All right, we got some giveaways to do here at Tony D. I don't think he ran them yet. Let's do some giveaways here. All you got to do is be active in the chat to win a giveaway. And yeah, we got 10 bags of USDT. To Tony, please correct me if I'm wrong here, but I'm pretty sure giveaways remain the same. Go to the free Discord in the description down below. Go to the giveaway section and claim your prize. Could you look at a stock? Sure. Duolingo. Shout out to Bless. Said, Frankie, how was the last setup to short the highs given in the premium Discord? Shout out to Bleh. Let's see here. It's somewhere in here. Hang on. I don't want to share anything. I think I'm going to hit it before I share anything new. But there is the short setup in the premium. And then in the scalp section, also, guys, my Discord is not a signals group, so I don't want to give the wrong idea here. But when I am on the charts and I do take like an aggressive entry, a lot of times I do just let people know what I'm doing. It's not 100% of the time if I'm not on the actual charts. I'm like on my phone or something. But there's the setup, waiting for the bounce from that 786 to potentially bring us into that 78 to 69K zone. And then locally, obviously, we were live looking at the potential additional push to the upside, and then literally got off that live stream. Where's it at? Right up in here. I've taken an aggressive short, reason being just barely front running 70K. I already went over the confirmations earlier in the live stream, but saw those bearish divergences, the SFP, and then the order flow confirmations as well. So that's kind of how that shout out to Blad. I don't know if he's in the premium Discord, but if you're not, that's kind of typically, I'm not always there to be here to like kind of walk through exactly where the entry, when I'm sitting on the computer taking an entry. But typically, again, not a signals group, but this is typically how we do those. How I spoon feed my trade setups. Simply setting the trap in the market, waiting for price to approach, talking about the confirmations I would like to see if it's close enough to predict. If not, it's like, we'll have to update when we get in there, which obviously was done in the scalp section. But there you go. Give me some free ADA. Shout out to Samu. It's not ADA anymore. Now it's just USDT. And Tony D pinning the winners there. If your username is pinned to the top of the chat, you won some free USDT. Let's go. Go to the free Discord to claim your free money. Literally free moolah. Been doing this for 4 years, just giving away money every week here on the live stream. It's a singles group, not a signals group. Yes, we have made matches in the premium Discord, found through the shared passion of making money trading Bitcoin, whether price goes up or down. Signals for Singles is a good dating app name. It's a buy signal for a girlfriend. But yeah, guys. Could I get a hat, please? Shout out to Sandra. If we were like live in front of a live studio audience, we'd just be throwing hats into the crowd. That'd be fire. We do that at meetups. We bring a bunch of hats and give them away. In 2022, I think it was the 2022 Bitcoin conference, people were like asking me to sign their hats and stuff. It was a wild experience. So guys, I'm just like a crazy guy that screams on YouTube and makes money trading. Like, you want me to ruin this hat? You want to wear this with marker on it? Do I use trend lines sometimes? Shout out to OCB. Yeah, sometimes I'll use trend lines. I wouldn't consider myself a trend line trader, but I do use them from time to time. Shout out to Indian Martini. Said, yes, cars that go vroom. I say that from responsible Santa Fe Sport. Shout out to Indian Martini. Let's go. Wait, Frankie, you need to stay for some more price action. Shout out to Bailey. I'm at risk of staying live for like 17 hours today because Mrs. Candles is not here. Firestream. Shout out to Nico. I appreciate you, brother. But yeah, guys, we'll see. I'll go one more check-in on the lower time frames here. Oh, this I forgot to look at the Duolingo here. Dang. Let's take a look at the higher time frame. I'll give you this. Shout out to, I forgot who asked for this. Give you a volume profile right down here. You got previous value sitting right hither. I'm going to do this quick and dirty here. So currently, bounced off the POC of the range. Value area low sits down here at about 81.47. Traditional volume profile theory would stand true there if you do end up getting a drop down there. This I would consider relatively undervalued based off this value area. Money flow on the higher time frames, freshly crossing into the red. This is honestly, yikes. Big, massive drop to the downside here. Fresh money flow crossover on the 6-day, fresh crossover on the weekly. Technically a divergence there on the weekly with your green dot. So you're pushing into major support down here. So wouldn't be impossible to get some kind of a bounce, but I would be careful with this higher time frame money flow crossover into the red. Potential continuation of the downtrend just based off that money flow. Key levels to look at for potential lower highs. Golden pocket 786 sitting up here. Between 165 and 192. No guarantees you get up to that major fib, so we'll pull it from a daily perspective as well. I would just really pull fibs from these previous lower highs. So next one would be like right here. So these would be like two major areas of resistance I would watch personally. 134.39 to 147.59, and then 165.92 to 188.30. Money flow has been in the red here for a while on the daily and the 2-day and the 3-day, but like the 5, 6, and weekly early money flow crossovers. So I'd be careful on these retracements back to the upside. So there you go. Some quick key levels, some quick money flow analysis. Solana, shout out to the Geek Story. We actually already took a look at Solana if you scrub back. Can't wait to see the melted faces on Twitter when we go back, when we go to 35K BTC. Yeah, probably a lot of people would be upset about that. Shout out to Mikey, says, or Mike Jr. 007 or 0777, I think is what that says. I won again. I think I've won at least 5 times. Thanks, bro. Shout out to Mike. Are you rigging the giveaways, bro? Shout out to Mike. But guys, with all that being said, scrub back. We covered all the local levels. Talked about the bounces into the golden pocket at local support. If we get the continuation up, biggest level I will be watching is going to be golden pocket 786, sitting right here. POC confluence 66,916 to 67,488. We'll see what happens when we get up there. If we're going to put in a lower high, that would be the biggest area of interest for me. If we break above it, I will simply come off of this viewpoint and turn on my local range, looking for a flip of the POC into the value area high. So much more detail on that in the beginning of the stream, but we'll see if we can get above that value area low. We finally got those bullish divergences. So honestly, it's pretty crazy because you wouldn't be super surprised, right? It's like you don't have the confirmations And again, I still would say you're fighting the higher time frame bias. But even for like a local pushback to the upside, you don't have the bull divs, you don't have the bull divs, you don't have the bull divs. Sweep work, bull divs. Maybe now we are able to get that bounce. So if you take anything away from that, confirmations are oftentimes better to wait for than to fade. So with all that being said, guys, that's all the time we got for today's live stream. Thank you all for hanging out with us through this 2-hour live stream. I actually was trying to go a little shorter today. I even had a timer set. But yeah, you guys were popping off today in the chat. So I had to stick around and shoot the bull with you guys. So shout out to Armando, shout out to Gen Z, shout out to Darren Dusting, shout out to Tony D, shout out to Jesse, shout out to ABS, Crypto Knight, Neon Visual, Brillo, Dynamic Entry, I think is what that said, Visionary Pulse, Indian Martini. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Smash a like button on your way out, and I will see you guys next week. We'll see what this weekend price action gives us. That's all I got. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. Bing bong.
Up or down, we get paid either way. Long when it bounce, short when it break. Yeah. Up or down, we get paid either way. Long when it bounce, short when it break. Market go red, that's dinner on place. If you only win one way, you late. Yeah. Up or down, we get paid either way. Money in the bank when the candles shake. Broke boys pray, we calculate. If you fear both sides, you too late. Yeah. Price go up, I ride the wave. Price fall fast, I short the gray. They need green just to feel okay. I make money in a hurricane. If you bullish only you half a trader. Market turn red, you a spectator. I stay paid in every layer. Volatility my elevator. They panic selling, I'm scaling in. They revenge trade, I'm stacking wins. They chasing candles, I fade the trend. They cash out calm while they hold the L. You want direction, I want range. You want hope, I want exchange. You want luck, I want edge. That's why my account don't beg. Up or down, we get paid either way. Long when it bounce, short when it break. Market go red, that's dinner on place. If you only win one way, you late. Up or down, we get paid either way. Money in the bank when the candles shake. Broke boys pray, we calculate. If you fear both sides, you too late. I don't need green candles to eat. If you're scared too short, you're scared to win. Profit don't care about direction. Bulls celebrate, bears pay me. Volatility is my direct deposit. Your hope is my liquidity. I don't predict opposition. Fear is where the entries live. You pray for pumps, I prepare for dumps. I make money in corrections and celebrations. The trend is your religion. The range is my income. If the chart move, I get paid. Yeah. Up or down, we get paid either way. Long when it bounce, short when it break. Market go red, that's dinner on place. If you only win one way, you late. Up or down, we get paid either way. Money in the bank when the candles shake. Broke boys pray, we calculate. If you fear both sides, you too late.